Welcome, beautiful soul. It's time to remember who we are. You were born for this moment, this breath. Nature teaches us and reminds us that whatever it is that we are searching for, that whatever our hearts and souls are longing for, we must know our unlimited power and worth. It's all already within us. So thank you for saying yes to this moment. Thank you for saying yes to this journey. And most of all, thank you for saying yes to yourself. Welcome, beautiful soul. Thank you, beautiful soul, for joining us today. We're talking about a topic that I am really grateful to be able to share with you all, and it is called Making Space for Softness. That's our episode today. And this is totally something that I've had to be intentional about. I chose to be intentional about. I guess there are no have-tos. You choose. I chose to be intentional so that I could come home to who I really am as it relates to the divine feminine. That's another word for this embodiment of this yin energy. Many of you have heard the analogy and the example of energy being described as yang and yin and yang, masculine and feminine. Divine feminine, yin energy, in its holistic self, is the energy that knows that it's already enough. And it's deeply related to the parts of ourselves that allow us to be soft and to make space for softness. We're going to be going deeper in that today. First, I invite you to close your eyes if you're safely able to do so that we can breathe. This is your time for you. So fully let yourself be in this moment and make space to find the rhythm of your inhalation and exhalation. We can imagine our breath like a song. And every time we slow down to notice and connect with our breath, through our breath, we're able to find the harmony, the beautiful rhythm, the song within us. So use this time right now to settle into your song of your breath. Maybe you can notice if your breath is smooth today or if it's a little choppy, or maybe you can barely notice it. We're simply noticing it, and there's no right or wrong. We get to let ourselves breathe. This is your time to thank yourself for being who you are. Thank yourself for being right here in this moment. And we certainly want to thank this greater breath within us, this breath of life that connects us to all of life, all within us. As our topic today for this episode is about softness, let's practice right now as we're breathing how you can let your breath be both extended. So extend your inhale and extend the exhale. Stretch it out a little bit more with a softness, without forcing, a gentle stretching of the inhale. And a gentle extending of the exhale. And as your breath is extending, invite yourself to soften in your body. That means let go of any tension, any tightness. This is your chance with every breath to soften into your body. And the area we like to put our attention on especially is that inner heart area. Your inner heart is this beautiful place where your divine essence, your divine wisdom and guidance and knowing are all available for you. And it's this beautiful heart chakra energy that connects us with all of the energy that supports and grounds us, with all of the energy that uplifts us and helps us to ascend and grow. And like a flower, we're making space to grow and receive and be supported with a beautiful, soft energy today that reminds us of the softness that's available within each of us and the softness that is each of us. So I invite you now to take a nice deep inhale with me together. And then let's hold that breath in for a moment. And then let's gently let it go. And we'll do that again. Nice deep inhale. Hold it for a moment. Gently let it go. And on this third time, I'm going to ask you to ask yourself, where can you invite more softness in your life? Where can you make space for more softness? Okay, let's do a nice inhale together again. Hold it. Let go. And we gently make space to notice where can we invite more softness. When you're ready, you can come on back and open your eyes. I always say breath is so delicious. It teaches us so much about who we are and provides us with a guidance for going through this journey to remember everything is an opportunity to notice and receive, an opportunity to let go. And today, our theme is softness. And so delicious breath is a perfect way for us to ask ourselves, where have I made space to receive softness? What can I let go of that helps me embody that softness? What is it that is interfering with that softness? I don't know about you, but I grew up in a time, in a generation, in a culture that didn't put a whole lot of value on softness. Instead, the value was on achievement, winning, success, conquering, being the best, triumph. And as you hear me say those words, I'm saying them with the energy that I felt all of those things. There was a force that felt more like I need to conquer, even if that meant going against the stream, against the current, to be fearless in that. And so there's a lot to be learned. And I'm not saying that it all was a waste. I am saying it was exhausting. It was exhausting. Because not only was I going against the flow of life, I was going against the flow of me. And that experience is valuable because it helped me to be so exhausted to eventually ask new questions and then find my way back home to, well, who am I really? If I'm not on top, if I'm not conquering, winning, if I'm not tied to success externally, well, then who am I? Maybe you're asking yourself that question, or maybe you've already asked that question. Who are you when there's no need to win, to be on top? That was eye-opening for me to see how tied I was to an external definition and external parameters. And that meant that since all that I valued and that I tied myself to was outside of me, that I was always chasing. And when you're always chasing something, of course you're always tired because it's always outside of me. I could never get there. The moment you have one thing, the moment I won in one area, it wasn't enough and I needed to win again. And of course, anybody who's trying to win can tell you, you don't always win. You lose sometimes, you fall, you stumble. And with that kind of mindset, I didn't fall or stumble with grace. I fell and stumbled with judgment. I felt like I did something wrong. Mistakes began to be something that I had to avoid and run from, as opposed to seeing them as part of the journey. And so ask yourself, what does winning mean to you today? My word for winning now is if I'm still breathing, I'm winning, because I tell everyone every breath is a victory. Every breath is a victory. There's some days, I feel like I have a little piece of hair right there. There's some days when getting out of bed is the triumph, because there was a part of me that felt like I can't, that life felt so heavy. And there are times we feel like we're so small. Those are just feelings. Those are the clouds in the sky, because the truth is we are the sky, we are enough, and we can sometimes feel like we're not. And that's part of the journey. And so learning to accept that with grace is also making space for softness to be. I also grew up thinking that crying and expressing emotions were signs of weakness, and I need to go through life with an armor. And it's hard to be soft when you're wearing a lot of armor. You can't be flexible. Imagine like someone's wearing some big, like you see the pictures of the old knights on battlefields wearing armor. Like you can't imagine someone wearing that armor doing yoga. You can't imagine someone wearing that armor giving someone a hug. You can't imagine someone with armor being tender. And so I had a lot of armor that I wore to protect myself from what? Being hurt. Not that it worked, because I still was hurt. I just had more baggage and more armor to get to the root of who am I, even in the pain. And what I've discovered and what I'm inviting you to is to peek into your real self beneath all of that armor, beneath all of those definitions of how you've been told to see yourself. That if there's not a definition and there's no armor, and you don't have to win, and you don't have to judge yourself when you fall, when you get to be ... without any conditions, without any expectations, with pure freedom, then who are you? That question used to feel so uncomfortable for me. So if you feel uncomfortable thinking about it, it's okay. It's just a sign that we're a little out of practice, and that's okay too. Because many of us grew up with a different set of conditioning, and yet, and still, and now, we have choice. And I believe we're all being called to come on home to who we really are, to who you really are. And there's a softness there. And so making space for softness is making space for the tender part of you, the gentle part of you that is as delicate as a flower. And you see the pictures of these sunflowers here in the image, and sunflowers are so amazing because, wow, there's a delicacy and a strength. And softness is just that. Softness does not mean weak. There's strength in softness. There's healing power in softness. To accept ourselves for who we are. And in relationships, to accept people for who we are. Masterpieces and works in progress. If we're still breathing, we're not finished. There's more for us to experience and learn. And that means learning how to let go of all the extra heaviness and density that gets in the way of us being soft and tender, to listen with compassion to what your own inner heart is telling you, so that you can hold space and listen with tenderness to what people around you are saying. And they're not saying it with just their words. They're saying it with their actions. You know, recently, I've had the chance to observe myself, family members, people that we know, maybe you can relate to this, who in times of stress become more stringent, become more like tightening the reins of control, want to try harder to plan things out and to get it just right. And there's a rigidness, a rigidity. And you wonder, like, why are they doing so much? Why am I doing so much? Why am I caring about all these little things? And it's because I haven't yet reached that point that says, accept, soften, simply be. I'm trying to get an outcome. And then I remember, oh yeah, I've done a lot of that in my life. And it's much better to trust and listen inside out than to try to push and strive and maneuver. Trusting, surrendering. Luana, who teaches me so much about embodying the energy that's moving in our stars in the celestial arena, talks about this energy that we're being invited to trust and surrender. And I told her at first, you know, I thought like, well, how much trust and surrender? And it's like, well, there's not a limit. Your ego wants to know, when am I done with this? My ego wanted to know that. And the more I breathe, I'm like, oh yeah, trusting and surrendering is actually my true essence. I'm not in my true essence when I'm resisting. It means I'm a little bit scared. I'm feeling a little bit scared. Let me be more specific, because we can feel many emotions as long as we remember who we are beyond the emotion. So we can feel scared and small and stuck and frustrated and angry and hurt and bitter, all of that, and joyful and hopeful and jubilant, and knowing that we're even more than all of that, because those are feelings. Who you are, when we tap into that energy, there's a steadiness that can move through any body of water, whether the water is choppy or smooth. No matter the condition of the water, we remember that we are the energy of all. That's who we really are. And when we tap into that, there's a softness that's connected to trust and surrender. It doesn't mean giving up. It's not apathy. It's a total knowing that all is well and that everything is already unfolding in ways that are always for your highest and best good, individually and collectively. And so you can lay down your sword. You don't have to put on your armor. We don't have to fight. We get to be. And there's a power in being. There's a confidence in being. There's a courage in being and stepping forward moment by moment without knowing the whole path, without seeing it or understanding it. And when we do so softly, without needing to win or conquer or compete, and we get to be, there's a liberation and a beautiful flow and a deep wisdom that opens up. And healing can flow in this way for ourselves and so many around us when we make space for softness. That doesn't mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean that you're meek in this false sense. It means that there's room for the all, the dynamic of all, of strength and humility, of power and gentleness, of softness, vulnerability, and great, great, great presence and consciousness and being. And when we're in this energy, we're in the harmony of the cosmos, and we let the cosmos, the universal energy, the energy of God, of all, of source, of universe, be expressed and move through us. We're reminded that we're never an island, that we're never alone. Softness is connected to stillness. It's connected to the pause, that you're allowed to breathe and take a pause and know that you're still a part of a beautiful flow. You're allowed to give yourself permission to rest, to sleep. That's part of nature. Nature pauses and sleeps and rests, and still there's always a rhythm of evolving that exists even within those pauses, within the sleep. And so I invite you to ask yourself, where can you soften? Where can you invite more softness? Is it in your relationships? Is it in how you see yourself? Can you let go of some judgment, some criticism? Can you let go of some unforgiveness? Can you let go of a burden of thinking that you have to do it all, that it's all up to you? Can you let go of the old lie that says that you're uncared for and that no one cares for you the way you care for other people? Can you let go of all of those false stories that have you believing that you're left behind? Can you be ... And knowing that in your being, the fullness of you is always present and being expressed. So I want to thank you for making time for this today, and I hope that you continue asking this question. Where can you let softness flow in your life? Where can you make more space for softness? It's not something we see collectively valued in this Western culture. And yet our planet has been giving us many signs to say this is a season for more softness, compassion, kindness, vulnerability. We're all one. We're all connected. And there is so much room and so much healing when we begin to say yes to softness. So I want to thank you for today. If you'd like support in finding how you connect to this softness, how you practice and embody more of it, then reach out to us. That's what we're here for. You can find us on the website that's connected to this podcast. You can reach out in the comments. And most of all, I want you to just make space and know that you're right where you're called to be. That's part of softness, accepting you. And I certainly accept you. And more than accepting you, I thank you for being who you are. I see you, beautiful soul. Thank you, beautiful soul, for remembering who we are and for making time and space to be with us today. As you go forward on your journey to the known and unknown places, continue to listen to your inner heart and honor your soul, because your answers are always within you. Please consider supporting us and spreading more light and love with this message by simply liking the video below, subscribing, and consider sharing as well. Most of all, take gentle care and breathe. We see you. We thank you, beautiful soul.